McCoy Gammon and Rick Hartzell, our officiating crew, and John Hampton going to toss it up. And the opening tip won by the Warhawks in their maroon and gold.
2 men inside. One of them will come out, as we see right there. Ball screen. He'll go down inside. And then usually the other big man, Alabaster, will come out on the floor. Or Alabacus, excuse me. But he didn't on that possession. Usually those two rotate inside and out.
And watch the defensive setup by the Bobcats. One of the reasons why they're so effective, they have the long 6'7" Caven Gilder Tilbury at the top of their defense. And he goes out and grabs Munnings.
You see, that's an interesting matchup right there.
Munnings will take the three-pointer and hit it. Munnings was quiet in the first half, had a much more active second half in their victory against Arkansas State on Wednesday.
Interestingly enough, 40% of his shots come from two-point land, and he can shoot the ball. But I think he does most of his work down inside. Now you're going to see a lot of ball movement, a lot of screening away from the ball, and they'll try to get that man right there. A lot of different shots.
And Caven Gilder Tilbury, the senior forward out of Cy Falls High School in Houston, averaging close to 17 a game, hits his first shot. Gilder Tilbury, number 4 in the conference in scoring. He's number 5 in block shots and 7th in steals.
They're daring him. Tilbury is daring Munnings to shoot that three-point shot, even though he hit one.
Jean-Pierre the miss, and the rebound controlled by the Bobcats as O.J. back down on the deck, clears the ball to Nigel Pearson. Nigel Pearson, number 22, with the ball in his hands. Could have been freshman of the year. DeMarcus Simons of Georgia State won it instead, but Pearson had a fabulous season. Inside Emmanuel King, the miss, got his own miss and goes back up with it and was fouled by Alabacus.
I thought he did a good job of just analyzing, didn't try to go too quickly, looked at what the defense was doing, and then made his move to the basket.
Alabacus, who had a career game against Arkansas State on Wednesday, whistled and picks up his first foul of the game. Emmanuel King averages 5 points a game, 4.5 rebounds, a junior forward out of Rocky Mount, North Carolina, by way of Wallace State Community College.
Alabacus did a great job, you're right, and just a freshman. I think a bright, bright future in front of him.
– 4-3 lead, Texas State. Capola testing the defense and a traveling call on Jean-Pierre.
Yeah, it was a good fake, but it was an easy call to make, and I thought the defense really shut the drive and penetration down the middle off for the Warhawks that time. As I say, you're going to see a lot of different kinds of screens. And Tilbury is going to find different ways, different cuts, going to get the ball at different positions on the floor. That time, down inside. The time before when he took the shot, out on top.
Ball blocked out of bounds, so 15 on the shot clock for the Bobcats. Nigel Pearson, current Sunbelt Conference Player of the Week. Give the ball to King, and King got fouled by Alabacus. If they call it on Alabacus, that's going to be number 2. Nope, instead of Alabacus, it's going to go against Marcus Washington, number 3. So that's a break for the Warhawks.
Great cut down the lane. You know, the defense kind of starts to pay attention to the ball and loses sight of him. But you're right on that. They didn't need Alabacus picking up his second foul with 2.5 minutes gone in the game.
King, just a 50% free throw shooter, has hit 2 of his first 4.
Usually they'll reverse that ball rather than keeping it on one side.
Marcus Washington, the senior guard out of Clinton, Mississippi, averaging 8 a game. Hits his first three-pointer, and the Warhawks have started 2 of 3 behind the line.
Yeah, the defense slipped way behind, although he's not an outstanding three-point shooter, and gave him plenty of room.
Gilder Tilbury, offensive foul. Threw his arm out there as he drove to the basket.
You'll see the defense here slide underneath and get the screen, slide underneath the screen, and give the shooter Washington plenty of room. They're using the high post. The Warhawks are using the high post for ball reversal right now, not just ball screen.
Inside they go to Munnings. Munnings had his shot blocked by King. Pearson on the drive, goes all the way through and shot it over the hoop. To Washington, goes by Gilder Tilbury and puts it in. Washington with the second basket.
Both teams are not known for their transition game, but both teams will go on misses or steals.
Traveling, no, offensive foul. That case was Coastal Carolina and UTA. We'll see if that plays out here in this ball game. But what we also saw in that first ball game, a different story in the second half.
Yeah, and you very good point, because it does make a difference if you've been out here before and now all of a sudden this is your first turn. But where the advantage comes is usually in the second half, because now legs start to be reactive. 80 minutes of basketball as opposed to 40.
Yeah, Marcus Washington has hit his first 3 shots, and he has 7 points, and the Warhawks lead by 5. Step back at the foul line. Shot missed by Marlon Davis. Davis, one of 2 freshmen that have been really big for this team in leading them to 11 conference victories.
Well, see, a great steal right there. He can complete it.
Pierre lays it in.
Jean Pierre did a great job of rotating into that passing lane and stealing the ball. But see, I think that is what has helped make the Bobcats, is that different people have scored. You just can't rely on Tilbury or concentrate on Tilbury.
It's a 9-0 run for the Warhawks.
Ball screens and screens away from the ball and throw the ball down in the post.
And Prilovich is called for the travel. He's the other freshman I was talking about. Marlon Davis, freshman out of Houston. And Nedja Prilovich is the other freshman as well.
And we see a young man, Jean Pierre, rotating from out of the passing lane into the passing lane and able to complete the play on the other end.
So 7-point lead for the Warhawks. Bobcats have turned it over on 4 of their last 5 possessions. Washington has had the hot hand. That's his first miss. And gets the rebound while he's down on his back.
Should be an asterisk by that rebound in the record book.
Munnings. And Alabakis tries to save it and does.
Munnings got to be careful now. He hit the first one, but he can't hang out there. He's got to get inside where he can do most of his damage. Ball's moving quicker, Matt. I mean, it's in one person's hands and then another.
Well, as you mentioned, Coach Richard was concerned about the fact the ball got stuck in their hands a little bit too much in their victory against Arkansas State. Shot clock down to 5 and stolen away. Pierce ahead to Davis, and Davis got fouled by Coppola, and then he clobbers our cameraman on the baseline.
You know, but he makes the effort. I mean, he can't jump higher than, an inch off the floor. And yet he gives you on every possession everything he's got.
Marlon Davis, the freshman out of Westbury Christian in Houston, averaging 3.5 points per game and a 48% free throw shooter.
He didn't look like a 48%. I mean, that was pretty good technique. And the other thing is, usually perimeter kids aren't bad free throw shooters. But a lot of that being a freshman. I'll be surprised if we don't see a significant increase next year.
Davis, free throw, ends a close to 4-minute drought for Texas State. They've hit only one field goal so in the game in the first 6+ minutes.
And that doesn't surprise me, because both of them, go after you so hard and keep pressure up on you.
And the foul is going to be called on Caven Gilder-Tilbury, and that's number 2 on him. So that's a significant development here in the first 6+ minutes.
I'm surprised they didn't call it on Daniel, because I thought he bumped him to create some space.
So the Bobcats all-conference forward has to go to the bench here, having played 4 minutes and picked up 2 personal fouls and having scored only 3 points. But he's hit their only bucket so far, so their lone offense goes to the bench.
They do a great job of fighting that post.
Capola barely scraped the iron, but Prilovich couldn't save it from going out of bounds.
Now what Capola should have done on the pass to him is the defense was rotating at him. He should have shot fake, thrown the ball back inside. Now it's a one-on-one, and let your best offensive player go to work. And we call that reestablishing the post. Or we say, throw the doggone ball in there.
McDaniel on the drive, passes it off to Cooper, who puts it in.
Cooper back cut.
Cooper, yeah.
Yeah, he back cut, penetration, back cut, found the open man. Great play. Now it'll be interesting to see who they don't have a go-to guy now.
Mid-range jumper, and foul's going to be called on Prilovich coming over the back after the miss by Maxwell Starwood.
Starwood's shot wasn't real good, and I think Starwood said, I was a little too quick on that. And Prilovich is a typical freshman trying to make an impact right away rather than understanding, hey, play hard but play smart.
Texas State has started this game 1 for 6. ULM is 6 for 11.
And you're right. I tell you, it is because we played last night before.
Davis leads the break. Pearson slips and falls down. Still plenty of time on the shot clock for the Bobcats to reset the offense. Pearson drives and one.
Did a great job on that of sliding on the baseline, protecting the ball and getting in.
Texas State's the 4 seed and the Warhawks are the 12 seed. The 2 games were decided by 6 and 5 points.
Without question. And so it clearly indicates that these 2 teams are fairly comparable. And when I talked to Coach Richard last night, he just said, Bobby, they've been able to score better than what we have. Well, right now, shoes on the other foot.
Nigel Pearson completes the 3-point play as we check in with Kristen.
Well, talking with Coach Richard, he said he's so proud of these guys. They never stopped competing, even when the record didn't reflect it. On the opposite side of those close games all throughout the season, but when it mattered most earlier in this tournament, they were able to be on the winning side. He expects his players to be a lot looser, a lot more confident, and a lot more excited here in this matchup.
Thanks, Kristen. And what they really did on Wednesday against Arkansas State was they executed in the second half, Bob. They felt like their half-court defense was okay. They didn't need to make it in the second half, Bob. They felt like their half-court defense was okay. They didn't need to make an adjustment there. They just weren't hitting shots at the rim, and those were leading to run-out layup Arkansas State. They started hitting those close-range shots in the second half. That stopped the transition, got them into their half-court defense. They came back and won the game.
In particular, Munnings. They got the ball to. Remember the first possession of the second half, they got a bucket for him, and he got going, and he created a lot of those opportunities and baskets for him down in close to the bucket.
Capola missed. In the meantime, Pola has picked up his second personal foul. We'll keep track of that. Remember, Capola has played every minute. Amazing stat on Nick Capola. Against Sunbelt opponents this year, he's played 95% of possible minutes.
Yeah, and he's one of those kids you could probably leave on the floor.
Yeah.
I mean, he just has a feel for, okay, coach, I got it. I got two, you know.
Yeah, I think that he could pick up 4 fouls in the first half and you could leave them in. I mean, he is that savvy.
Yeah, he really has. Coach's kid, you know, it's been his whole life, and he just got energy galore. You know, he just got what we call in the profession a great motor. I mean, he just likes.
Yeah, he was our Under Armour player of the game as Roderick Taylor hits the basket. Coppola was our Under Armour player of the game in that win against Arkansas State. 15 points, 4 assists, 5 of 7 free throw shooting, played all 45 minutes. But Coach Richard said the most impressive thing he did was chase the Red Wolves' Devin Carter all over the for 45 minutes and shut down their leading scorer.
That was amazing to me. I agree with you. That was amazing to me. And then, boy, he did it then. Oh, you got to get it to him now. He loves to go to work down in there.
Munnings working against the pressure and passes out of it, and a traveling call.
See, coach has got him going quickly. The ball out of your hands, but they're trying to translate into that, okay, I got to move quickly, and, you know, now you got some traveling violations that you didn't have the other night.
Starwood goes to the bench. Caven Gilder-Tilbury, their star player, all-conference first-team forward, remains on the bench with 2 personal fouls. That's the difference. Caven Gilder-Tilbury goes to the bench with those 2 fouls. 2 fouls for Coppola. He stays in the game. Pass inside for King. Bodies all around him. They get it out to Pearson. Pearson drives. Ball batted around, and Pearson gets his own miss, put it on the floor, stolen away.
You just can't put it on the floor like that. My God, look, Munnings inside.
Munning got down ahead of the defense and put it in. That's the second basket for Munnings. 8-point lead for the Warhawks.
So often, if your back is to the basket and you've got the ball, you better hang on to it. Don't dribble, because you don't know who's behind you. And that's exactly how that play started.
Prilovic takes the 3-point shot and hit it. The freshman forward out of Belgrade, Serbia, by way of Lee Academy.
That isn't his forte, but boy, he looked pretty decent there.
That was just the 5th three-pointer he's hit in 33 attempts this year.
But I said it nicely.
12.5% before hitting that one right there. Coppola gets the rim out.
It's not Coppola's shot. You know, he's coming off that screen trying to pivot and shoot. Shooters do that.
You know, that's not his shot, but if the game's on the line, you probably want him taking it.
Oh, I wouldn't argue there. I wouldn't argue there.
King passes out of the coverage. Shot clock now ticks under 10, and Davis takes it to the hole.
Davis did a great job of avoiding the screen.
And has considerably favored the top 4 seeds because the 3 and 4 seeds got a first-round bye, and the 1 and 2 seeds got 2 byes.
Yeah, I like this much better. I like seeing all the teams and doing all the games. And the day off really helps the teams that have to play the first day.
Alabacus banging his body there and puts it in with the left hook.
First time they've gone to him. And I think he needs to get more involved. And especially as Munnings slips out on the floor, now it opens it up for him.
He had a career game, 14.7 boards, 6 of 8 shooting, 2 assists, 2 steals in that victory against Arkansas State on Wednesday. And the drive and the miss by Tyler Blount.
He just got his 3rd foul.
And Coppola picks up his 3rd personal foul. Decision time here for Keith Richard. Do you take him out?
Yeah, it was a foolish foul. I mean, he's not going to get that rebound. And he's trying to get a rebound.
Going to take him out as Wade Martin checks into the ballgame. So for the first time in this tournament, Nick Coppola takes a seat on the bench.
He plays hard, though. He just didn't use good judgment on that. See, both teams fight and push the offense out. And it will take you more time unless you've got a really gifted player that can just rise up and create shots, like Herbert.
7 on the shot clock. Black the drive, and he got fouled on the shot. So O.J. Black will be going to the foul line. Now this is the guy that really has been the straw that stirs the drink for the Bobcats this year. Leads them in assists, 4.0 a game, number 4 in the conference. And a big reason why the Bobcats have committed fewer turnovers than any team in the league.
And you have to play him as a driver. You got to be careful. But he did a great job of juking to the middle off the dribble and then went to the baseline. But it was on the juke to the middle where he made contact with the defensive man, and the defense picked up the foul.
There's Capolo on the bench. 17 fouls now on the Warhawks, so bonus for the Bobcats rest of the half. Bobcats, 5 of 9 shooting the free throw today. Warhawks have yet to shoot a free throw. Washington tried to get the ball to Alabakis, tried to throw it through 2 defenders, but was fortunate to get it back. Now Money working against Prilovic. Missed it, and Martin keeps it alive.
Both teams reacting well to the ball. I think both teams are taking some shots that they have no business taking. Munnings, I didn't like his shot. That's not his strength.
The Warhawks will get it on the side with 20 seconds left on the shot clock.
He needs some more screens to get him open down inside where he can turn and face for about 10, 12 feet, and he's really effective.
Haven Gilder-Tilbury remains on the bench for the Bobcats. He's played only 4 minutes and a half because of foul trouble. Jean-Pierre rises up, and Martin ends up keeping it for the Bobcats, and a foul called, or for the Warhawks, and a foul called on the Bobcats.
Warhawks are doing a great job of going after the ball, and I know how Coach Casper right now, he's got to be saying, I can't believe it. We're just giving them too many opportunities. Like that curl. More and more teams are going to that curl against that pressure defense. If you can get it in there, you got to get it.
Munnings working against the freshman. A drop step, had his shot blocked, and a jump ball is going to be called, and the Bobcats get it on the possession arrow. Good defense by Emmanuel King, number 33, to cap him while he was in the air.
And if you'll notice, see, he's having to go against too many defensive players, and part of the problem is Alabakis is right on the other block. Well, and now his man can rotate over.
Upon further review, I think it might have been Prilovic who actually capped him, not King. Good backdoor cut, and the basket by Conley, and one.
Dean Smith in North Carolina used to run that exact play. You dribble towards the middle, turn and look on the open side, and that man just cuts and goes to the basket.
Alabakis called for the foul. Nicely executed by the Bobcats for just their 5th field goal of the first half.
Perfect. Just a great job. Great offensive execution.
So Bobby Conley, the senior out of Ohio by way of Palm Beach State, averaging 8.5 points per game and a 58.5% free throw shooter, steps up to the line for a chance at the three-point play.
And you have to have plays like that in your repertoire to go against pressurized defense when they're fighting those ring passes. But Bob got to start hitting some free throws.
Yeah, Bobcats 50% at the foul line, but they have not been a good free throw shooting team all year. 11th out of the 12 teams in the conference at 64.5%. Seven on the shot clock. Munnings tried to squeeze a pass in there to McDaniel, and they turned it over.
Too many people in there. You got to go up. Oh, he just double dribbles. Too many people in there. You got to go up with it, or you got to kick it out.
King put it on the floor and nearly turned it over. And Conley traveled. 7th turnover for Texas State, a team that has done a very good job of taking care of the basketball this year. 11.5 turnovers per game is their average, which is best in the conference. They already have 7 here in the first half.
A lot of it, I think, too, is the pressure that the Warhawks are putting on them, and they've taken them out of their rhythm, out of the sync, and I think both teams have done it.
Well, you know, Coach Richard said they were going to play this game different defensively in the 2 matchups earlier. You know, they tried to map the shooters and the drivers. Said they're going to play it more straight up defensively in this ball game. Black gets the layup.
And Black wasn't guarding the ball. Black was chasing the cutter, and the cutter came behind the ball. You don't want to do that for that reason.
Washington the miss, and the rebound, the Bobcats. They come down the floor, a chance to take the lead. They're on a 9-2 run.
Washington's getting a little bit three-point happy. He's only a 25% three-point shooter.
Black for the lead. The rest of the half, if you're Coach Richard, since he went out with his third personal foul, the Warhawks are 0 for 4 with the turnover.
Yes, as long as it's close. If it starts to go the other way, then no, you don't have a choice, because Capola isn't one of those kids, and ULM isn't the type of team that can play from behind, very far from behind. As long as it's close, okay. But other than that, get him back on the floor and say, don't pick up your fourth.
And King shoots the Bobcats back into the lead. That's their first lead since the first 2.5 minutes.
See him without Tilbury. That is significant.
It's very significant. They have been able to manage this thing. It hasn't been pretty, but they have the lead here, approaching the 3-minute mark of the first half. And Caven Gilder-Tilbury, their all-conference forward, has played only 4 minutes because of foul trouble.
And Munnings has had difficulty. Well, I'm not sure about that foul, but Munnings has had difficulty down inside getting an opportunity to create offense for him like he did 2 nights ago.
Prilovich is called for the foul.
I thought Prilovich did a good job there. He was moving his feet, bothered the ball, but hey, what do I know,
McDaniel fumbles it out of bounds, and that'll be the 7th turnover on the Warhawks.
And I don't know where he was going anyway. I mean, there just wasn't any room down there. And Alabacus isn't quick enough with his feet yet as he rolls to step around the defensive man and thus create a passing angle. He's getting shut out very quickly.
Prilovich. And Washington goes up to get the rebound, loses his feet.
Well, he didn't establish a pivot foot, so actually his left arm was his pivot foot, and he didn't move. There you go. Now he's got the ball where he wants it, but everybody's going to pile right on top of him.
Washington on the drive, offensive foul. Washington used his left shoulder to clear out.
Look at how high that young man got, and then he gets. Look at how high that young man got, and then he gets bumped. Now his left shoulder.
And a good sell job by O.J. Black.
Yeah, exactly. His left shoulder was his pivot foot, and then that's what he does well in Washington. Market. He's a driver. He needs to play as a driver.
He scored 7 of their first 10 points, but has not scored any of their last 10. Prilovich inside, had a shot blocked by Washington.
It was underneath the basket. Not very good judgment.
McDaniel. He has not had a good thus far.
29% from the three-point line.
Wow, how O.J. Black cutting through the defense to get the layup, and Texas State leads by 3. This is their largest lead of the game. Black averages 8 a game. He's got 4 already. Washington at the fall away, and Pearson the rebound for the Bobcats.
I really think that was too quick. See, the defense didn't have to adjust, do anything. And although he was close, he was under good pressure.
Over 6 minute scoring drought now for the Bobcats, or rather for the Warhawks, pardon me. And shot off the side of the hoop, and Nigel Pearson with the off the putback. And a timeout called by Dan.
Just bangs off the right way, hits the corner, but hits the corner But give that young man credit. Nigel Pearson, Coach Cassidy unit he's got.
And they're going to get through this entire half without having to play Caven Gilder-Tilbury with his 2 personal fouls. So they'll have a fresh Gilder-Tilbury to go for the second half. He averages 17 a game, and he's only played 4 minutes. McDaniel again a miss, and ball popped up in the air for Conley. Conley goes by Washington and was fouled on the play. And Bobby Conley will go to the foul line.
You know, one of the things that you can do if you aren't an outstanding offensive team is transition baskets, because that gets you baskets in the paint. And your team has to have so many baskets in the paint. And I don't think that the Bobcats have outstanding post players. If your little guys can get in there and get a bucket, a basket in the paint's a basket in the paint. And I think that's what helps them with their transition game.
Conley at the foul line. It's his 3rd point. He's now 1 for 2 at the stripe, and the Bobcats are 8 of 13. Conley hit a big shot against Georgia State last year, and Coach Casper feels like it was a game-winning shot against the Panthers. Felt like he's really built off that. They always felt that he was capable when he transferred in from Palm Beach State College. Maybe did not live up to expectations a year ago. He has exceeded them this year.
And a lot of times a transfer needs a year, and all of a sudden maybe he fought the system a little bit, and now he's bought in.
Difference of 4 seconds, game clock and shot clock for Cooper. Lob inside for Alabacus. It's denied by King. Out in front for Davis, and Davis had his shot blocked by Munnings, but Munnings got him with the body.
That was a tough pass to make by Munnings, because he was trying to go with the lob because the defense is around very quickly. And that just, too many people were in there because he had help coming back. And then they're off to the races.
Arlen Davis at the free throw line. Davis now 2 of 3. That is the 6th miss for the Bobcats at the stripe. 7-point lead is their largest. They're on a 12-0 run as the Warhawks have gone 7+ minutes without scoring.
And that is typical of the Warhawks. They go in those scoring funks where nobody can get it in, but he just lost it again.
Turned over, and his shot blocked by Jean-Pierre, but the follow by Nigel Pearson. As the half...
He does what he has to. Because it's not just propane, it's Blue Rhino.
The 4-seeded Texas State Bobcats lead the 12-seed ULM Warhawks 30-20 as we start our second 20 minutes. I'm Matt Stewart along with Coach Bob Donowald.
I'm ready, Coach.
You're the coach.
Yeah, but you're coaching them too. They got to get going, and they got to get Munnings going. Okay, good feed. A little bit slow on the pass, but right idea.
Jean-Pierre the miss, and the rebound controlled by the Bobcats.
He's got to get a little bit more mustard on that pass so your shooter has a little bit more time, because the defense had collapsed and was way over.
Black will take the three-pointer and hit it. 13-point for the Bobcats as we check in with Kristen.
Well, Coach Donowald, you said the Warhawks need to get Munnings going, but Coach Richard told me out of the half that they really need to get Nick Capola back into this game. It really showed their lack of skill with him on the bench. Coach said he's not coming out of the second half unless he fouls out. Overall, he was happy with the defense. We just have to score, and he knows Nick facilitates that, guys.
And they have gone more than 7 minutes, Kristen, without scoring.
I'll tell you what, and Washington didn't take that shot. He could have bypassed that shot, taken the ball, and gone to the basket. He hit those early jump shots, and it's taken him out of what he does well. He's only 25% three-point shooter.
Well, and he's missed his last 5 shot attempts. Gilder Tilbury puts it on the floor, drives by Munnings, and lost it out of bounds off his hands.
They got to be careful. They're giving Tilbury the ball a little bit too close in there. You got to push him out further. They got away with it that time.
Caven Gilder Tilbury, their all-conference first-team forward, played only 4 minutes in the first half with foul trouble, and they still had a 10-point lead at the break. Capola bounces into the post. Munnings had his shot blocked. They'll call a jump ball, and the possession arrow favors the Bobcats. Gilder Tilbury with the block. He is number 5 in the conference in blocks per game.
And King, you'll see, rotates down on him right there. So he's actually got 2 men. There wasn't any way he was going to get that shot off.
Either Gilder Tilbury or King, one or the other, got the block, and we'll have an offensive foul called on the Bobcats. Bobby Conley called for the foul. Conley picks up his first personal. Danny Casper's team picked to finish dead last in the conference. Finished instead in a tie for third and earned the number 4 seed in a first-round bye. Capola had it stripped. Pearson ahead to Conley. Conley with the layup. It is a 20-0 run for Texas State, dating back to the first half.
Pearson did a great job of coming over and jarring that ball loose from Capola. Really good job.
Munnings got fouled on the play.
They triple teamed him. I mean, coach got that defense set well. You saw those hands. He just jarred the ball loose, and then it's off to the races.
Gilder Tilbury called for the foul. That's his third, and he'll come right out of the ball game. The difference is Texas State can play pretty much without Gilder Tilbury today and still have a 15-point lead. The Warhawks can't play at all without Capola, and he came out, and that's when they fell behind. They have yet to score since he left with his third personal foul, even though he's back out on the floor now. Munnings had his shot rejected by King.
Well, see, yeah, and the other thing is doubling him. As soon as he puts it on the deck, it's like forget everybody else on the floor, go get him. And they're doing a great job of it.
I think their scoring drought spanning back to the first half is 10 minutes or more now, over 10 minutes without scoring. That's a quarter of the game without scoring. Reach-in foul is going to be called on Black. O.J. Black picks up his first personal. That'll be the 13th foul on the Bobcats. Are the Warhawks ever going to score again, Coach?
Yeah, that's a good question. A very good question. Are they ever going to get to the free throw line? I'm not sure I've ever seen a team not get to the free throw line in a whole half.
We played 23 minutes, and close to 11 minutes they haven't scored. Still scoreless. And a foul called on the Warhawks.
Yeah, Cooper just over the back.
And Cooper picks up his first personal foul. First personal foul, first team foul on the Warhawks here in the second half.
You need to get into some little for big and get Munnings where he doesn't have to put it on the deck and he can get into his shot right away. Or you've got to put it on the deck and then let that defense collapse and then skip the ball across. That's what they've got to do. Defensively, they're playing well. They're playing hard. They're chasing people.
But eventually you do have to score.
Without question.
Pearson. 18-point lead as Pearson hits the fourth three-pointer for the Bobcats, and he has 10. He's the only player in double figures.
And it is hard for the Warhawks, even if they get going some, to catch up from that kind of disparity in the score.
Jean-Pierre. King the rebound. Scoring drought of epic proportions.
And leaving 2 big men down inside has not helped them because the weak side man is coming over to double on the post.
Black whips it out for Conley on the three-point line.
I haven't been on the floor. That really helped him.
You're going to need him against the regular season champions tomorrow, the number 1 seed UT Arlington, if you indeed hold on to win. And right now, you're leading by 18 points.
Without him.
Yeah.
I mean, he hasn't done anything from an offensive standpoint where you'd say, wow, there's a first-team all-conference player.
Munnings, the miss. He hit the first shot for the Bobcats, and that's it. And they haven't needed him, which is good news for Texas State. Pearson lobs it up top. Krilovich puts it in.
Great back screen. The defense didn't help. He threw it up. In a couple of years, he's going to flush that thing.
20-point lead. The Bobcats may have already scored enough points to win the game. Another turnover for ULM.
We don't see the back screen, but we do see the lob, and it was a great offensive execution, and you wouldn't anticipate it with a freshman, but it was a great job.
Now, I'm not about to say that this game would be dramatically different if Coppola had not gone out of the ball game with 3 fouls, but it wouldn't be stuck at 40-20 right now. No. ULM, when he went out, the offense totally out of sync, and they haven't been able to reconnect.
And they turned it over in ways that Coppola won't turn it over and created easy shots. But give the Bobcats credit for it. They do guard you.
Pearson three-pointer and the rebound. Daniel gets it to Coppola. Washington takes a long three-pointer and barely grazed the iron. Munnings saves it to the other team's jersey. Davis ahead. And inside basket by Starwood.
Penetration on the baseline. Defense reacted. Starwood just flashed in there and got the ball.
We are approaching a 30-0 run. Coppola. Washington got the rebound and got fouled by Pearson.
Baseline drive. Great job by Conley. Finds the open man and lays it in as the defense reacts to Conley.
Coppola off the inbounds and the rebound. Munnings finally ends the drought. A 27-0 run by the Bobcats finally ended on that putback by Munnings.
I'll tell you the one thing, though, the Warhawks won't do. They won't quit. They won't lay down. They'll just keep. It may not get any better, but it isn't because of a lack of effort.
They went over 14 minutes without scoring. Krilovich and Coppola the rebounds up the floor for the Warhawks. McDaniel taking the three.
And now those are just foolish shots.
And up top, Starwood on lead from Pearson. Pearson with his 4th assist.
You can take that ball and drive it to the basket. You don't have to settle for the three. Why not?
Warhawks now 2 of 18 on their 3-point shots.
And he's at 29% three-point shooter. And he can get it in closer. He doesn't have to settle for that. He didn't like if we don't make a three here, we'll lose. Get some points, get some rhythm.
Yeah, just get some offensive rhythm going. Work the ball inside, and then maybe the 3-point shot will open up for you.
Exactly. 3 points didn't go catch it or catch up.
Davis with the 3-pointer.
Came off the screen on the ball. The defense slid underneath.
Bobcats now 5 of 9 on their threes. And, Coach, I agree with you. If I'm Danny Casper, I don't move Gilder Tilbury off the bench the rest of the day. It'll be like fresh legs, like he never played.
Exactly.
Munnings puts it.
Defense was spread out more that time, and the little guys weren't able to get to him, and he split them. See, this is a hard game for Alabacus because the defense is trying to shut him out. And they aren't saying, oh, go ahead and get the ball.
Pearson fouled on the play by Munnings, and
it just compounded the problems for the Warhawks.
Bobcats' shooting percentage has climbed to 47% for the game. They're 4 of 8 on their threes and 10 of 16 at the foul line. And Nigel Pearson at the foul line.
Yeah, Warhawks have just tried to go to the three-point shot way too quick, way too often.
Well, they've been frustrated, I believe, by the Texas defense tonight, any kind of game underneath. And when they have been able to get it inside, they've had their shots blocked.
And they pushed them out further than what the Warhawks have pushed the Bobcats.
Pearson, the only player in double figures. He now has 12. 6 points, 5 rebounds for the freshman. Lost a close battle with Marcus Simons of Georgia State for the Freshman of the Year honors. Coppola takes a 3 and hits it.
First time. Now, they've got 5 perimeter guys out on the floor. And that was a penetration into the middle. And then Coppola could take his shot, just everything going towards the basket.
First shot the senior has made today. Inside the Bobcats go. The miss by Duncan. Got it. They'll reset the offense.
Great job of fighting for the ball. Munnings was right there and could have picked it up. They outfought him for it.
Duncan on the drive and the lay-in. Beat McDaniel on the baseline. 23-point lead for Texas State. Inside Munnings, nicely executed. He blew the bunny. My goodness.
See, they're moving a little bit better with that many perimeter players on the floor. And the good. See, they're moving a little bit better with that many perimeter players on the floor. And the good drive to the middle. Coppola wide open as the defense ripped. And they got an easy shot right there. Yeah, Munnings didn't complete it. But they've got the defense all spread out.
3-point miss by Washington. He's now 1 for 4 behind that line.
He could move the ball and just...
Haven Gilder-Tilbury back on the floor for the Bobcats. Traveling call on Pearson. UT Arlington Everett are leaving the building. They've seen enough. They'll be playing in the first semifinal tomorrow against the winner of this ball game. Looks like it's going to be their rivals from San Marcos, Texas State. McDaniel leans in, got fouled. He'll go to the foul line. These will be the first free throws for the Warhawks today.
Really good shot fake. Got in there and then got into the defensive man's body so that he can get to the line. Really good offensive play.
Gilder-Tilbury picks up his 4th personal foul. It's just one of those days for Caven Gilder-Tilbury. Just nothing going right. The good news for him is he picked a good day to be off because the team doesn't need him. I mean, they're surviving more than well enough without him.
And there is good news on those fouls because those legs are going to be fresh tomorrow.
Yep.
They just move the ball, cut. They don't have anybody necessarily in the post. King's in there right now, but he'll move out.
4 on the shot clock. Davis goes through the defense. Shot clock violation on the Bobcats.
And that's not all bad either. You run that clock down, you take away time that the Warhawks can get back in the game.
Bobcats just 8.5 minutes away from their 19th victory of the season. Munnings bad luck. Prilovich drives and puts it in. Went right by McDaniel. 6'8" freshman. Averages 3.5 points per game. Has 7 today.
Good juke to the right. Then drove to his left. The defense react to it. We don't see it. There he goes right down the lane. And the defense, instead of helping, reached. And that was Washington. He reached, trying to guard the ball loose, and didn't get it done.
Back at the other end, Munnings at the foul line.
Substitution. Number 15, Maxwell Starwood. Substitution, Warhawk. Number 5, Marvin Jean-Pierre.
Prilovich had a career-high 10 points. Most recently last week. Twice he had a career high. And most recently last week in their victory against South Alabama. He's got a shot bettering that number here today. Full court pressure by the Warhawks. Danny Casper told us that he understands why the coaches in the conference thought that his team would finish last. They only had 5 players coming back from the year before, and only 2 of those that had really contributed. Their all-conference player, Amani Gann, had graduated out of the Pro. Hawks 22-9 here in the second half.
The big plus for the Bobcats, besides Tilbury, is that they've been able to give a lot of youngsters an opportunity to have the monkey on their back, so to speak, and they've really stepped up. And that's the one thing that Coach Richard said this team can do. He said different guys find ways to score.
Munnings takes a 3, and the rebound. Alabacus got it back to Munnings. Back inside to Alabacus, who puts it in, executed that so well in their Wednesday first-round victory against Arkansas State. That was plays that Alabacus early in the year was fumbling away, had a tough time holding on to passes and getting layups. He did it so well in his career-high game against the Red Wolves on Wednesday. That was the first time we've seen it today.
And as he gets stronger and his feet get a little quicker, he's going to be able to step around and sooner and create more of a passing angle where guys are getting the ball.
And a shot clock violation for the Bobcats.
And you're going to see it right here. Good ball screen. He rolls a nice pass in there by Munnings right into Alabama.
In fact, Coach Richard in their team meeting after beating Arkansas State, in front of the whole team, joking with Alabacus, said, I see you brought a bottle of glue with you, because he had such a difficult time the entire year with those passes and fumbling them out of bounds. And looks like even though it doesn't look like they're going to win here today, he's going to finish the season strong for this Warhawks team, which gives them reason for optimism looking ahead.
Oh, great back cut.
Nice pass from Alabacus.
You know, I bet Alabacus didn't play baseball as a youngster. And the reason I say that is because of the hand-eye coordination, learning how to look the ball into your hands and secure it. More track athletes have trouble bobbling the ball, and I'm not suggesting he was a track athlete, than baseball player.
Man, he's out of Perth, Australia, blocked by Jean-Pierre. Warhawks showing some signs of life here. Washington with the move and the layup. He's got 11.
Get the ball down quickly. Transition basket in the paint.
Got it 17. Inside pass and the shot over the Starwood. Got a nice speed on that play, but couldn't convert. And Jean-Pierre, and one. 9-0 run for the Warhawks, and they've climbed back to within 13. Or they can.
deep transition and finding different ways to score. In part, out of transition, a back cut, a loose ball where Munnings gets it and drops it to Alabacus, and all of a sudden, it's a lot closer.
Yeah, it's 15, and Jean-Pierre can make it 14 here with the free throw. Gilder Tilbury back in the ball game. You see what they did is Warhawks made a run at him, and so Coach Casper had to get Gilder Tilbury back in the game. In fact, he's got all of his starters back in the game.
Yeah, and I don't blame him. You know, good back cut, and he'll get to the free throw line. It's about the third time, different ways that the Bobcats have opened it up, got the offense up high, and found a way to get a back cut. See, the offense, we only see the high post player, but the offense is all up, so it's open underneath.
Gilder Tilbury, that's just his 4th point of the game. He hit an early 3, in fact, hit their first basket of the game, and he has not had a basket since. He's had foul trouble all day. He should play just 9 minutes. Averages right at 17 a game. He now has, well, still has 4. But a chance for 4 as the Bobcats get the offensive rebound. King fumbled it. Munnings to Washington. Inside Alabacus. Scoop shot missed. King, man, Alabacus had that.
Left hand, it looked like he lost it a little bit. It may have been on the heel of his hand when he tried to shoot it.
Back to King, who set the screen. It's the payoff.
Ball screen, rolled to the basket. Defense didn't come over from the outside because they were concerned about the skip pass.
That ends a 3+ minute drought for the Bobcats. Washington ends up with it for ULM. Munnings shoots over King. And the tip by Washington, and a timeout called by the Warhawks has forced Coach Casper to get his starters back in there.
Yeah, what it has to happen, the Warhawks have just got to make a percentage.
Coach Casper to get his starters back in there.
Yeah, what it has to happen, the Warhawks have just got to make a percentage-wise an incredible number of plays here relative to the number of possessions they'll have in order to get it to a point where they got a chance to win it. And the Bobcats will more than likely continue to play like they do. I take that back. When he made the basket, I was going to say just move the ball.
Pearson now 5 of 9 from the floor. He's got a game-high 14 points. Solid line for him today. 14 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, and 5 steals, which is a career high for him. Munnings shot it over the hoop and blanked the rebound for Texas State. Texas State, UT Arlington in the first semifinal. It appears that'll be the case tomorrow right here at Lakefront Arena. They split during the regular season. In fact, it was the Bobcats who ended the Mavericks' 11-game winning streak back in early January.
That defense creates problems for you, and they have enough quickness in order to compete with the quickness of the Mavs. But it'll be interesting to see how they deal with Herbert.
Pearson, after the turnover, is able to lay it in, and that gives him 16. Washington shot blocked by King. 2:35 to play. Looks like the Bobcats will be advancing to the semifinal.
To see what he can do because he can shoot over so many people.
And we have 2 more games still to come here in our evening bracket as 2-seed Georgia State plays number 7-seed UL Lafayette, followed by 3-seed Georgia Southern and 6-seeded Troy. Here we have 2.5 more minutes to play. as the Bobcats will pick up their 19th win of the season. Munnings hits the three-pointer.
That's the most room he's had on a three-point shot. And the reason for that is the defense was slow to recover back to him.
Head the ball by Washington, and Jean-Pierre put
a miscommunication on the other end. The Bobcats started to make an entry pass, and the wingman back cut.
It was stolen by Jean-Pierre on the inbounds. Washington had a shot blocked by Gilder Tilbury, and a foul called. And if it's on Gilder Tilbury, he's fouled out. He has. Munnings hit the three-pointer.
Really great job of stealing that ball and giving your team another opportunity, to score. The clock is stopped. Now you can get it just a little bit closer. And granted, the chances are very slim, but I think I've said this before. I saw Nevada 11 down at New Mexico with a minute to go in the game come back and win.
And Munnings it a 14-point game. He gets one more. And Gilder Tilbury officially fouling out today. What a disappointing game for him. 12 minutes, 4 points.
Blessing in disguise. Now, he may lay an egg tomorrow, but it's still a blessing in disguise.
And that blessing in disguise that you're referring to is the lack of minutes he's played here today has not been pushed hard. Should be fresh tomorrow for UT Arlington.
That's exactly right. He can cut as if, he had been waiting on UTA all along.
And the ball knocked out of bounds as we take this moment to salute our Under Armour player of the game, and it's the freshman Nigel Pearson, who finished with big day for him. 16 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, 5 steals.
I thought he was the X factor. He kept them going. I mean, he found different ways to make a contribution, different ways to score. I mean, he just did a heck of a lot of things today.
Black just got pushed to the floor by Munnings, who committed his 3rd personal foul.
Foul number 1 of the Warhawks, Travis Munnings, his 3rd, team's 5th.
So the season will come to an end for the Warhawks here in New Orleans. They'll finish up at 9-24.
Hopefully Black's okay, because he did fall on his elbow.
Fell on his right elbow. We saw in that opening quarterfinal today the injury suffered by Jalen Jones of the Mavericks. Hit his right elbow. Hopefully he's going to be okay, but Jalen Jones might not be okay. The last word we heard from Mavericks head coach Scott Cross was that he perhaps had torn the ligaments in his right thumb. And if Jalen Jones, a big part of their game plan, is not able to play tomorrow, that's going to be some trouble for the Mavericks against Texas State. Ball last touched by the Bobcats as we are now in the final minute of what has been a great career for Nick Capola of ULM.
See, the Bobcats do a great job. Capola picked the ball up. He has a hard time finding somebody to throw the ball to.
The drive and the put in by Washington, who has 15.
Took him too long to decide, hey, maybe I should take it to the basket as opposed to shoot those threes.
Starwood inside got the bounce. Munnings rips the net on a 3-point shot. That's him 18.
Wasn't as effective, though, as quick and sharp as he was 2 days ago.
Shot clock off, and the Bobcats can kill the clock here. Game ends up being closer than it really was with the final score 63-51. The Bobcats advance to the semi.